All right. So, what did you guys get out of that? What is some points that you really enjoyed about the movie, which you can feel like you can apply to your own teaching ability?
So like obviously we can relate to the teachers because I think just like the difference between the two teachers that it shows and like how connected and
What are the differences between Ant-Man and Shop Professor?
well the shop professor kind of just like puts down the students and like doesn't really encourage them and he didn't see how Patrick was trying to make the class happy and more comfortable, and he just saw Patrick as like mocking him. And then with Paul Rudd's character, I think that he focused more on the students and was more student based.
So one thing you were discussing is belittling them. The only reason I know why people belittle others is for power. That's all they want is power, control. So what is the kind of control we want to have, and what kind of control do we want to give the students?
I also did notice one other thing. So when I think his name was Mr. Anderson, Paul Rudd's character, and the class was kind of like rowdy, and he was like, "Okay, quiet down," but he wasn't saying like be quiet, like be silent. He was just like keep it to like a mumble or like a roar or something like that. I don't remember specifically.
I know it's your last
he's
day,
kind
but
of
please
like,
keep it to a dull roar.
yeah, he was just kind of like choosing his battles, I think, instead of trying to control every aspect of the class.
Now, how do you decide which battle to fight? This is very important for you to know.
I think it depends on what the outcome is going to be, because if you're fighting, so like for the quietness of class, I think that's not a great battle to choose unless you like really need the class to be quiet, because it kind of just makes the students feel like the teacher's telling us what to do again, and also he can continue teaching class for the other students, so I mean it's not completely hindering his ability to teach.
No, that's good.
Everything.
Yeah. So that movie like made me more emotional than I thought it would be. I'd never seen it before, so I was like,
it's definitely my first time watching it.
Yeah.
I cried.
I was almost there a few times.
No shame.
It was just like it had like just a lot of impact, a lot of introspection. Which introspection, a lot of it can lead to like depression and things like that because it's very critical. I think it is. So, but the things I got out of the movie were just how life is difficult for everyone. Like life sucks for a lot of people, like at least some point in their life. Life's really hard. And it talked about how like he had moments where he was really down, which was really sad, and like he didn't understand what happened to him. It was all like jumbled around, and a lot of things were going on. And I think it was cool the teacher took notice of him, not just because like he was smart, like yeah he's smart, we'll give him an A, but he went beyond that. He was like, oh he's faster, he's already finishing ahead of the students, so I'm gonna give him a book to take home and let him continue on. So like the teacher didn't just like say as one size fits all. For the class, you notice that sometimes we focus a lot on those that are struggling, which is good. That's like those that already kind of get it. Like my wife was a student like that, where she was like way ahead of the class, and so she went to like this divergent learning thing they had at her school, which like they took those kids that were like bored because they got it the first time. Some kids 2 to 3 times for them, which is average. But some kids get it like the first time and they're bored in class. That's how she was. So they would take those students and help them learn different things and go at a faster pace. And she still remembers a lot of what she learned there. So I think it was cool the teacher like was doing that with him, where he's giving him books to take home, and then like reports to write on him, and like the student was learning at their own pace, which I think is a good example of what a good educator is, helping the student where they're at.
It's true. A good educator is supposed to focus on the child and be able to teach their ability. On top of that, you made a point about so often we focus on the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If y'all have heard that saying before, what it means is the one who's making the loudest noise and suffering the most in class, that's the one we always focus on. In life, it happens a lot. So us as teachers can focus more on the individual needs and be able to help them and increase themselves.
I just kind of wanted to draw a connection to that, where if anyone's read Preach My Gospel, that's the main point, is discern your investigator's needs. And so sometimes it might be a standard curriculum thing, or it might be like he did with an extra book at the end of every class or week or whatever it was. And so I think that you're able to tailor that both in a gospel sense and an academic sense to help people and to help them move through it.
Yeah, I know a little boy, and he's really clever, but he was telling me how he hates school. And I was like, well, why do you hate school? Because he's so smart. And he just gets really bored with the class, and then the teacher kind of gets irritated with him because he is bored and kind of just like doing his own thing. And he hates doing his homework because he already knows how to do it, and it's so easy for him. And so I think it's really important, like, to focus on the students a little bit more than we do. Well, as some teachers do.
Another point we made is how we treat our students. At the end, remember, at the end of the class and everything, he asked, can I keep giving you books after this? After this is done. Is that all right? And he said, yeah, sure, go for it. Compared to the shop class teacher, when it's like, if you don't give me a passing grade, I will be in this class next semester. That two difference, like, what do you want the students to remember you as?
Mm-hmm. And like he didn't have to keep going to books after she, like, technically his job was done at that point, like
Exactly.
with that student. But he, like, I know some of my siblings still have teachers from elementary school that they talk to, and like those teachers don't have to do that anymore. Like their job is done basically, but they still continue on because it's not the job, it's like the actual what they're actually doing. Which shows like some of them can be like more idealistic, you know, because like they understand that educator isn't just for that period of time, but it's for life. Like we're learning for life, so they want to be there to help them. So they could technically stop doing the job, but they keep doing it, which I think is a really good sign of someone who's passionate about education.
I agree with you completely and 100%. All right, the other thing I wanted to discuss is over there on the board, there is a list of a lot of the things which were discussed and problems these high school students are suffering with. Mm-hmm. How would you deal with some of those? What is the thing that you can do?
Most things are kind of out of your hands. A lot of things that I think the people who are closer to them, who are like family,
If I write this down like that, just
Go for it.
but I also think that simple little kindness can go a long way. If you just treat people with respect and a little bit of care, I think it helps a lot.
Can you give me an example of something like that? Besides the movie?
I remember I had an English teacher who I really, really loved, and English is not my best subject, but I really enjoyed it in that class because I felt like she brought me up to an equal level with her, and not like she was teaching down at me, but she was explaining to me like things at an even level where I felt like I was an adult now because I'm being talked to like that. So I felt like there was a respect like that because she wouldn't like, I don't know exactly how you do that, but I did feel more like an equal.
Did that change also like how you acted in the class?
Yeah, I wanted to succeed.
Once we're treated like how we feel we deserve, we end up behaving to that level. And that's one of the beautiful things. A lot of those things on that list can be fixed with something as easy as you explained, respect and care. And a lot of the times, there was an old saying that goes, people won't do the best they can until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And so often, it's true. In the gospel of Jesus Christ, it's true. On your mission, it's true. People don't care about your message until they realize how much you love them, how much you care about them, how much you want them to succeed.
Yeah, I think this one's really cool. The treat us equal. Like I like my teachers that treat us like adults in high school. Even though we're not technically adults, it was kind of like nice to, because then you feel respected. You feel like they actually like understand you, and so you perform better. I think in that situation, that's a good way to help. Is there other ways we can help students that, like with the problems up there?
Yeah, I think because it helps. I think it helps you to feel like you believe in yourself to succeed. I know a lot of teachers will do this, but I personally am against starting your class like your first day by telling your students this is a hard class. And it's going to take, I think they're trying to say like it's going to take a lot of work and you need to put effort into it, which, they do. But when they start off saying it's going to be hard to get a good grade, then I'm instantly like I'm lowering my standard. I'm like, oh, well, this is going to be really hard and I probably won't want to put a lot of effort into it.
Set up for failure.
Yes.
And that is the worst thing. We're, as teachers, as educators, we're not supposed to set up for failure. We're supposed to support these kids, get them to a point where they can believe in themselves and take off with their own wings. There's a story about a farmer who finds an egg and he brings it back home to all his chickens, and it hatches and it's an eagle. And the whole time he treats it like a chicken. And then a wise man comes over and says, "What are you doing to that eagle?" And he's like, "I'm doing nothing. It just thinks it's a chicken." And he said, "But it's not a chicken. It's an eagle. And it needs to be treated like one." So he soon took the eagle and tried to throw it up in the air so it would fly, but it fell to the ground. And then he climbed up to the chicken coop and tried again, and still, same thing. Until finally he climbed up to a tree and threw the eagle off, and it soared through the sky. And that's sometimes what we need to do, is we need to help these students understand that they are not chickens. They are not supposed to be simple. None of us are. We're supposed to be eagles. We're supposed to soar. We're supposed to fly and become the best we can.
That's why it makes you sound like you should drop people from trees.
No, as educators, don't throw children off trees.
Yeah.
Not from personal experience, mind you.
Have you guys all seen The Prince of Egypt, right?
Yeah.
Did any of you go to the Christmas concert on Saturday last week? No. The guy there, he's the actual singer of the song of Heaven's Eyes, like Through Heaven's Eyes. And I think like that's what I was going to add on here too, is like seeing them through Heaven's Eyes, the students. Like there's all these problems going on, we can like limit them. Like I know I've had teachers that you kind of feel like they look out on you condescendingly, like almost like, oh, you're just kids. They're all like, your generation's so bad, you guys are lazy, you guys are all technology. They just like put you down, and at that point it's just like, well,
All right,
maybe I am.
Bringing down millennials, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, if we can see them through Heaven's Eyes, it's like Brother Wilson has taught a lot about that, like seeing them for what they can become, and like treating everyone as not just like a passing person interaction, not like a transaction, but more as like a thing you could know them. You're gonna know them probably forever. So it's like if you can see them through Heaven's Eyes, I think that will help a lot with these problems, because then they can rise above the circumstances.
I like that a lot. When I was in high school, there was a really sad thing that happened. There was a guy who was deaf and gay, and he had a hard time finding love. And so he connected with someone online. He got in his car and drove off to a bar and met the guy, and the guy killed him. Stole his wallet and stole his car and drove off. He was my sister's best friend. How do you feel as teachers you could have done to help him? Help anyone in that situation?
That's hard. Do you think that the main problem that this person has specifically is they didn't feel loved, or they didn't have very much confidence in themselves? And I think kind of going back to being kind and treating people as equals and believing in them, it'll help them to believe in themselves, to be a little bit more confident in who they are. And I think through school, I think one, you're an adult too. You're always trying